Welcome to the Witching Hour podcast with your host, John Roysland.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me once again on the Witching Hour podcast. I'm your host, John Roysland. With me tonight, new special guest, Mr. Mick Strawn, whose face you might not recognize, but his work you definitely will. His resume is about that fucking big, and it does not seem to stop. Production designer, art department, special effects, author. He is the man behind the scenes that makes everything worth seeing. Mick Strawn, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Well, I'm here. I made it. As you go along, you start to appreciate that.
I'm looking over the list of everything that you've had your hands on today, and some of my absolute favorite films. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4, Boogie Nights, which I actually just revisited not long ago. Was it Leatherface Part 3? The Hidden, one of my all-time
The Hidden.
growing up. Never got the love.
We have to talk about that film because that film, it was, the weird thing about it is the people who did that was New Line Cinema, and the group that made everything was based in L.A.
Right.
And Bob Shea, his office, everything was in L.A. The second part of the group, though, that did things like promoing and all the rest of that, was in New York. And when it was funny, that thing where you see back then, you saw a lot of you saw commercials and you knew new films were coming and stuff, and kind of the same as today. But I saw 2 commercials for The Hidden and I didn't even recognize it.
Really?
Really, I was like, and then all of a sudden the third time I go, holy shit, that's the Hidden. That's the one that I worked on. And I mean, they were trying to sell it as a police procedural,
right?
Which I don't know I don't know. Anybody in their right mind who had actually ever seen it would know that the police procedural part was the smallest little segment of it.
Whoever reels them in and gets them into the seats, that's all that matters. But
I don't know that it did, though. I mean, I think that I would have advertised it as a science fiction film, right?
Right.
It was just a very strange. It was a very strange advertising campaign for a film to me, that it was just a little golden gem,
It never got the attention it deserves, I felt, growing up. That is one, as soon as I saw that on your list, I was like, oh my God. Because it's one of those films that isn't talked about much, and it should be. Because it was, for that time especially, it was phenomenal.
It just turned all your expectations around, I mean, I have to tell you that there was a sequence that we had, the mannequin factory, with crashing into the mannequin factory and having the gunplay between the creature that had taken over the stripper's body.
Right.
And she goes upstairs and there's this thing with Queen McLaughlin and I can't think of the other name. Michael Neary,
right.
Over the edge of that, and how much work that was to pull off, and yet it goes so smoothly that you don't even know it. I mean, we had a duplicate edge of that building built up above that building, so that was far enough back so that we could actually do the stunt work with him pulling it up. And so we had duplicated that edge up on the building. And then in order so that you could see up there and that you could get that long walk with her, because she did a long walk before she went through and that was our sign and our breakaway sign or breakaway neon sign, which was something that some people said that they couldn't do, and we did it in kind of a really tricky way. We created a neon sign and went up there and scored the glass and put it in little bags made out of really fine wire. Okay. And so when you see the fall and she breaks through all that neon, and it's really hard to tell what it's doing, but the neon breaks and then falls back against the building because it's locked in these little bags.
Right.
And so, because there was always a fear that she would fall onto a bag, but the bag would be pierced by the tubes of the neon because you couldn't tell because neon breaks in pretty long pieces.
Right.
And then so we had boxes up there that were disguised as like ceiling lights and that kind of, and it was just a huge amount of work to get through that scene. And the whole thing, and the whole factory was basically, we made a little factory in that building. We made a factory to build foam mannequins that we could actually do bullet hits in. You can't do a bullet hit in an actual mannequin because it's fiberglass, and the fiberglass will go out and shatter and be just as dangerous as steel going through the air.
Oh yeah.
So we made these foam ones, and the great thing about it is we had to make a factory to make enough foam ones to make it representative to do the bullet hits in, and then we just filmed the factory that we had made.
So I mean, no, please go ahead.
No, that's it. That's just, and of course, then we had to cut the building itself in order to make the breakaway for the car to come in,
right,
and so forth. And it is such a huge piece of work for a little tiny film.
And all right, so you said that perfectly, which leads me to, I love what you do. Absolutely love what you do. I mean, you're a young man. How did you first get involved in this? And where's the cookbook on how to, the recipes on how to do what you just described, just for that one scene?
There is no cookbook for it.
Right.
Here's the thing that I got to tell you is I got into the business because my sister was working doing costume design in off Broadway in New York. Okay. And I was working in construction. And my mother's background is my mother was an artist. My father was a contractor, which is the perfect combination for what I became, right? In the 82 or so, she got a job doing this weird little Canadian show that was done by the Canadian Safety Board, and they hired a director that she had worked off Broadway with, and next thing you know, they were coming to New York, or they were coming from New York to LA. And one of the secrets of the film business is the first people that you hire in the film business are people that won't tell you anybody else that you don't know what you're doing. And so my sister hired me to come in and help her paint the sets and run the crews and all the rest of that. And it turned out to be a really big deal. And I painted this weird little robot this metallic robot that, if you want to look up after this, is called the Canadian. It's called PlaySafe. Okay. And it's Astar the robot. And you ought to take a look at it because it's kind of a great thing. It was made by the same people who put together what's the movie with the replicants? Blade Runner.
Oh, sure, right.
So, and it has that Blade Runner look, and so the weird thing about it is that was where my training was. I spent 3 months down there, and it was for people that have a brain and connect it to their hands, and has the art background and the art and construction combo background, it was a toy shop the likes of which you have never seen. Literally, as we would walk in the office down there, as we walked into the office, over to the right was the Blade Runner model, the model of the city that they fly through.
Wow.
And yeah, wow. I mean, just looking at that and looking at how they lit it, because if you looked at it, here was the whole model was kind of done. It done with a lot of etched plates, so that they had all these great silhouettes and stuff. And then you looked underneath the model, and they drilled holes and put dental mirrors pointing out, so that the dental mirrors would go in, so that all the lights would be out here. The dental mirrors would be underneath it here, and they would go down and shoot up and come up, so that you could actually get those little rays of light coming off of everything.
Wow,
man! I just say that job, and then later on getting hooked up with a cat by the name of Tazlo Bauer, who was just one of my best friends ever. And Tazlo Bauer was a special effects guy, a mechanical special effects guy. And so we did breakaway glass and flames and all that kind of stuff. And the art direction background, I worked with my sister several times. I would bring my sister in. And in fact, that's what happened on Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I literally got the job through an elevator pitch. I mean, an actual elevator pitch. I'd worked on another job. For New Line Cinema, and I'm working with Peter Chesney. We blew something up. It was on a film called Quiet Cool, and we blew up this building. And I got a job with Peter Chesney. Peter Chesney did the mechanical effects on Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I went and worked in his shop as his foreman, and I was taking in the final billing for us, because they hadn't started Nightmare on Elm Street 3 yet. They didn't have a director yet. And we had done all the prep that we could. And I went in with the billing for the prep, and I was standing there, and Jerry Olson, who was the executive producer on it, he was actually one of the line producers, excuse me. I happened to know him, and we were in the elevator on the way up, and I said, Jerry, I'm just doing all the building. I'm doing the special effects for Nightmare on Elm Street 3. And he goes, yeah, they just hired me for that. That's the next thing I'm line producing. I go, really? I bet you need an art director, don't you? And he goes, well, yeah, especially one that happens to know all about the effects that are happening anyway. And I go, yeah, that would work really nice, wouldn't it? And we did it, and so I sold him between that and the 8th floor. Sold him. I walked out and I was employed again. Hey, there you
go. So let me. What year was it you would say that you officially got into the business? You were able to leave everything behind.
Yeah, it was. It would have been on PlaySafe, literally on the very first one, because. Literally, I just lived in that warehouse. I lived in my van in the parking lot of the warehouse. Not the warehouse. They probably would have frowned on that. But I lived in my van, and I still had a wife and 2 kids. And I just stayed right there. And I literally got on the phone, finally rented a place north of LA because I wasn't going back. And then the way that I saw it is my wife said, so we've got work after this, right? And I go, oh, yeah, honey, sure. And then that ended after 2 months. And I went out and I left the house 8 hours a day looking for jobs in the movie business without telling my wife that's where I was going.
Right.
And I don't know, just landed jobs just kept going. And it didn't take me long before I had a reputation. I would say within a year, had a reputation for actually being a real, at least a good special effects technician and a good construction coordinator.
That's awesome.
And went from there,
That's great, man. Oh my God. I can only imagine the stories that you would have to tell, all the years, all the films, the movies, the actors, just in general.
It is such a weird thing to just bounce from one weird thing to the other. And the thing is I'd always just grab the first thing that came, and it was always something weird, It really was. and I have a lot of friends that have been in the business as long as I have. Somehow or other, an awful lot of the ones that I was on are still remembered. I don't know what, is at the time we were pretty low fruit doing horror films. Everybody wanted to do Ordinary People and Steel Magnolias and stuff like that, and I got to admit the pay would have been a lot better if I'd done that, but I was so locked into the group that was doing horror films, and the actors would always complain that they're being pigeonholed into this particular genre, and I'm like, well, yeah, but this genre really fits me.
Well, I mean, it's definitely taken you a long way. And I mean, like presently you have what, 2 new projects?
I do. I have coming up. I actually was going to do a project. It was a couple of years ago, and got just talking at a con with my old buddy Jeff Burr and my other old buddy Halehoff, R.A., right? And we it turned out that Jeff had health issues and then actually died later that year, which is just a cut to my heart and a cut to my soul. Jeff Burr was one of the sweetest human beings you've ever met. I mean, and just super smart, and would share with you. He taught more people he's actually taught more people how to work in the film business than I did. So, but then we went on and we did the project though. We finished. It's called Pig Hill, and it's kind of based on a bunch of people that are supposed to be actual pigs living up on a hill up above Meadville in north of Pittsburgh.
Right. Yeah, I have not seen the film. I've seen the trailer. Very intrigued. As soon as I hear, somebody in the commentary, they're talking about a story about folklore, I'm all over it.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It is a great film. It is a very disturbing film. Right. It is a very disturbing film, but it's great. And then I have my film is out on Tubi right now that I directed with Jeremy Brown. We did Vengeance together, which Friday the 13th, which was the first ever fan film that I had done. It was the first film that I'd ever done that everybody wasn't being paid, that everybody was a volunteer, and it shocked me how good that film was. We killed so many people. We had to keep killing people who volunteered their time, right? So
that's the thing too with the horror community. You will get that only with the horror community.
Right.
Nowhere else.
It is a unique situation, I have to tell you.
Yep, it truly is.
And really, there's something about it that's I remember working on it. Some of the people that we even roped in, I can't think of the name of the director that worked on it too. That I had actually worked on with on Freddy's Nightmares, and he actually did I think Friday the 13th, the 6th one, I think. He was the director on that, and we actually got him, and I walked. I was the first AD on it. And I walked out, and he goes, "Didn't you build a burger stand for me in the middle of a parking lot 30 years ago?" I was like, "Yeah, I did, as a matter of fact." But we got together and we got that one done, and we did a film called Solitude, which is a very, very small film, very, very well done and well acted by Sam Vincent. And she's basically, it's based on the Alone series, and kind of smashing that together with a Wendigo. As you do. First thing you got to think is when you're out in the wilderness like that, you got to think to yourself, I better watch out for the fucking Wendigos.
Yeah, I tell you it. I watched the trailer for it.
Right.
It really does look interesting.
Yeah, it's a really good film, and watching her act, she really carries it. I mean, basically, it's kind of her alone, her against herself, and then eventually the Wendigo, and the thing that we kind of were trying to play with is the Wendigo real, or is she just going out of her mind through hunger, right? And the great thing about it is, I'll tell you the truth, is we never nobody ever won the argument. It wasn't really an argument; it was a discussion. But we kind of left it that way as an open end, and at the end of the film, it's kind of a you decide. Was she crazy? But people, I have to say, people do wind up dead one way or the other.
Oh yeah.
It's that kind of thing.
Right. So Solitude, you've got on Tubi, Prime, and Apple TV. Now Pig Hill.
They just got a distributor now. You can see it if you happen to be in Indiana. It's going to be showing at a theater pretty soon. If you look up Pig Hill, I'm sure that you'll be able to find where it's showing. That's going to be an amazing film too.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see both of them, obviously.
Yeah, I have a couple of things coming up. I'm going to be doing a film called Phobia with a friend of mine, Nick Benson, which is basically sort of a zombie-ish film. And then later on in the year, I'll be doing a film called Rogaroo. Rogaroo. Basically, it's a werewolf film done in Louisiana Bayou.
Ooh.
Yeah, right. Ooh. That one is going to be killer. That's being directed by Eric Matthews, who's got Infernal out right now. Yeah, it's a busy time for me. I thought I was retired. I've had a heart attack. Yeah, exactly. I just went through 4 freaking films, right? I'm an old man. What the hell am I doing all this shit for? It's amazing. No, I'm amazing.
You are full of life. You are just going at it left and right. That's awesome, though. You obviously still have passion and love what you are doing with your art and your crafts.
I literally went. A friend called me up and he said, "Do you want to come on?" And he called me up a week ago. He goes, "I think I might need you to come in and act as a cameraman for me." And I go, "Dude, I would love to work with you." He's a documentary filmmaker, so I would love to work on you. But I have to tell you the truth. The last thing that I operated was an ARRI B35. It's a 35 millimeter film camera, which you turned on and it went. I don't I have no idea how to operate any of the rest of this stuff. And then as the week went by, he said, "Could you come on as first AD? Because I can't find a first AD." He called 2 nights ago and he says, "I lost my director." I go, "Well, that I can do. That I know how to do. I'll be there." So I wound up going out and directing this documentary piece about about a writer, a country writer. I live by Nashville now, and he's putting together a kind of all people that write the country songs and stuff like that. Seems like they've all settled out here, right?
Right.
And his name was Dave Gibbons, and he was just he was a hoot to be around. Between the two of us, we were almost too ridiculous to be in the house together at the same time.
I can definitely see that.
Things got pretty rough, I gotta tell you.
So you got your 2 projects coming up. Long term, down the road, anything big that you personally have in the back of your mind that you want to try to focus on or start? Any projects that you want to do?
Not really. I mean, I gotta tell you the truth is they will all come my way.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, projects always just happen to me.
Right.
I've never had to go out and search for a thing. Knock on wood, and there it is, right there.
That's good.
I'm telling you, that's nothing could be truer. I am just one of those weird people, and it's not luck, because some of these things have been just horrible, right? But at the same time, it took me a little bit to get going there, and but after a couple of years, the business kept landing on me as opposed to me having to go out and get it.
So this is gonna be hard to do. My position, I always try to be constructive. If somebody sends me a project that they put their heart and soul into and gave it to me to do a review on, let's say a nice small indie film.
Right.
And I try to be constructive. Sometimes it's very, very hard. Now,
you know what?
No, please.
Here's the thing. I am given scripts all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I do is and people know this, is I'll sit down and do my best to fix your script.
Right.
And I have gone out there, I have fixed just probably just dozens and dozens of scripts that have come my way. And oddly enough, that's kind of how eventually I keep winding up, working on all these films anyway,
Right. Yeah. Because I was going to say, I mean, you've got some huge Hollywood films under your belt.
Right.
Huge Hollywood films. And you step back and you help a smaller project. Maybe you'll help them. Maybe you'll actually become a part of the project. Now, there's a lot of indie filmmakers out there, and I'll give them credit where credit's due because they're doing it. They are living their dream of making a film. They had an idea and they did it with $1 million in their pocket or some chump change and the phone in their hand to video it.
Right.
And unfortunately, the finished product, it does show.
Right.
You can't afford lighting. You can't afford to pay someone to be in your movie. So you've got no acting, you've got no lighting, you've got no sound, but you've got a thought, a dream, right, a vision. And now you want me to tell people
if it sucks or not.
Right.
Right. I know.
It hurts so much. And then, which is why and there are reviewers out there that they're just going to tell you the truth. A pile of shit's a pile of shit. A pile of gold's a pile of gold. I try to be constructive in the sense of saying you could make your pile of shit and build it up and spray paint it and make it look like gold.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's still going to smell bad.
Right.
Right. And that's a hard thing to do. And from you coming from major motion pictures, I mean, the silver screen, I mean, Sid and Nancy, for crying out loud. That's one of my all-time favorite films. I've seen it a million times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And now everybody and their mom are making indie films.
Right. But you know what? I understand. You can't think about them one-on-one. You have to. Here's how it works for me.
Mhm.
One-on-one, I'll do everything I can to help you. And if I see it and it's terrible, I'll tell you how to do it better next time.
There you
And
go.
you know what? And here's the thing. Not only will I tell you how to do it better next time, I'll be able to tell you better next time. I'll be able to tell you that because I've seen where your faults are.
Right.
I
like that.
But let me tell you something. In independent the middle films, the Sid and Nancy's,
Mhm.
the Hiddens, have all gone away and come up on Netflix, right? Because we only release Marvel films. We only release Marvel films in the theaters. There's a really specific reason for that. Is the films become worldwide monsters, and you can't have. The thing is small comedies, small films usually have regional feelings to them that do not translate well to other languages.
Right.
You know, so Marvel films do because they're usually based on pretty dumb ideas as it is. There's nothing complicated that you have to untwist out of. Come on, is there a concept in a Marvel movie that reminds you of any of those plot twists of even freaking out Sid and Nancy, right? The subtleties of the hidden, right? Nothing. There's nothing like that. I mean, they are dumb plug hit you over the head with a goddamn big Thor hammer. That's what it is.
Yep.
Right?
I'm with you.
And they are so easy to slap another language onto and put into an Indian market, to put it into Chinese and stuff. The thing is here's the thing. Thor is speaking Chinese before Thor is speaking English to you.
True.
That's the way it is. It plays in India before it plays here.
It's true. That's very true. Look up any film and it'll have American release date.
Right. Well, hey, listen, Roger Corman knew the secret to that, you know. And I've even worked on Roger Corman's lot. You know, I'll tell you just a little story. So I was doing the Fantastic Four, the one that was done by Constantine, that was actually done on Corman's lot, right? Mm-hmm. And when Corman said that he put $1 million into that film, that means he put $10,000 into that film. Yeah, I mean, let's face it. So we had to make it within a given period of time because basically Constantine was just making it to get the rights turned around. So they have to do the rights to it. They have to make that film every 7 years.
Right.
They still to this day own Fantastic Four. And that's why it's been made so many times. Just the first movie. Dong, 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 dong. And so that he can so that Constantine, who makes a lot of other movies, can actually hold on to the rights to that. Okay? So we actually filmed. I got notified in the beginning of November that I got in that film, and I got on the film, and the next thing you know is we had finished half of the film, which was our contract. Mm-hmm. We finished half of our film at the end of the year, and I walk in and I'm starting to close up, And as I'm closing up the one of the lots on Corman's little stage, there's a guy sitting there in a little chair, looks like an accountant, and he's writing on a legal pad right in the middle of one of my sets. And I'm like, "Excuse me, sir, because you gotta go. I gotta lock this place up." And he goes, "Oh," he says, "Don't worry, I got the keys." I go, "You got the keys?" And he goes, Hi, I'm Roger." I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay, hi, I'm Mick." And he goes, "Yeah, I know you're Mick. You did a really good job on these sets." I go, "Okay."
Oh my God. I love
That's my whole interaction with Roger.
Absolutely love that. Mick Strawn, boys and girls, I hate to wrap this up because I could pick your brain and listen to your stories all night long. I truly could. I hope you come back. I know you got a lot of projects. Send them my way. Come back, talk to me about them anytime you want.
I will do that for sure. You have the beard that I'm going to have in about another 4 years.
There you go. That's that. Yeah. Hey, we're right there.
Yeah, we're there, buddy. I got it. I'm there.
Boys and girls, I am John with the Witching Hour podcast. My new special friend, Mr. Mick Strawn. Thank you so much for taking the time. Be sure to look out for Solitude. And if you are in Indy, go look up Pig Hill. Definitely check it out. And be on the lookout for Mr. Mick Strawn. He's got a lot of good projects out there and a lot more coming out for you. Mick, thank you so much. I will hope to talk to you soon, my friend.
You're welcome, man. I had a great time.
Boys and girls, please hit the subscribe button. I will talk to you guys soon. And as always, please remember to keep it evil. See you guys.